Welcome to Running Dialogue, the podcast where we talk about all things for runners and walkers, from elites to beginners and everyone in between. And I'm really excited to kick off kind of a part two of our partner spotlight with Consumers Energy. They are so engaged in our community and are so involved in so many things going on with the CRIM and overall that we wanted to get a little deeper. And I'm very excited to have Kyle McCree, who is the Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy, specifically for Genesee County. Kyle, welcome.
Thanks, Andy. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm very always pleased to point out you're a Flint native and you grew up in and around this area and came back after school. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Great, great.
It's been 15 years, which seems like it's not that long, but yeah.
That's right. So yeah, I know, but you're definitely tried and true Flint man. So love that. Love to have the Flint energy in with this. And speaking of energy, you've been with consumers for at least a few years now, right?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. Yeah.
Great. Great. So, and you have, even, I think if I remember correctly, even before your time with consumers, you were at least somewhat involved with the CRIM. Is that right?
Yeah, so actually it involves you a little bit in your family. So I bought a house on Miller Road
Oh, right.
7, 8 years ago before we got married. And kind of, I think, across the street and down the block from where you grew up, where your parents lived.
Yeah, right between mile 7 and 8, right?
Yep. And so when you buy a house with a blue line in front of it, in front of your driveway in Flint, you become part of the CRIM. And
you really do, whether you like it or not.
No, but it was fun, and it's one of those. I lived downtown before I bought the house, so you're used to. So actually, that was my first CRIM experience. Was at the Durant, the view down Saginaw Street, and seeing the runners come up Saginaw. But living on the CRIM route as a homeowner was really special, and we would sit out with some bagels and mimosa, and watch the runners go by and cheer them on. And Mother Jones, Bishop Jones's wife, lives in the neighborhood. She would come out and cheer everyone on, and she has
that's great.
A boisterous voice, and would go Flint. And
that's so great.
I lived also in front of a hill on Miller, and those hills right there.
Oh yeah, those rollers.
And when the wheelers came by, and the strength and I think just mental fortitude to get up those hills for the wheelers, that was just amazing. And we also had a little bit of roadkill one day right in front of it, like that morning, and they got the body, but there's this stuff, on the road. And so I got some hot water and some bleach, and I think someone thought I was trying to sabotage the race, and I said, no. I want the streets of Flint to be looking nice, for folks who are running and visiting. So.
Thank you very much. That's the kind of thing that I love about the CRIM is truly, I mean, you are a perfect example of how the community really wants to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward for everyone who comes to race it, not just for our own neighbors, but for all the people who come in and visit, all the guests. And so really appreciate that.
Yeah. Even I grew up in the city, living on the CRIM route really brought home that experience.
Yeah. One of the things I love and growing up watching the CRIM was that you could sort of look at the feet of the massive runners and really what there would be this optical illusion where it actually made it look like the curb and the street were actually moving backwards, because kind of like when you look at a river and you're not really sure what's moving forwards and backwards. So it's just that full, even at mile 7. That's pretty cool. So and since then I know you've volunteered and you've been involved with the CRIM, certainly with consumers. And so, what are some of those experiences that you've had?
Yeah, those have been really, really fun. For Consumers Energy, the CRIM is our largest sponsorship, but it's also our largest volunteer event. And so my work with the CRIM begins with some of your team, really that spring and early summer, of understanding what you want us to do, which is usually we are the day before the race, that Friday, helping with packet distribution, packet pickup, t-shirt distribution. And so there are several managers at our Flint Service Center that use the CRIM as what we call affinity building. So they will volunteer for a 10:30 to 3 o'clock shift. So their folks come in, they have their morning meeting, they get a little work done, and then they go as a group and volunteer together at the Crim. And it's a way for the manager to build camaraderie among that team and give back, and they have a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
they're printing off the packets, which used to be finding the bibs, and now that you all have gone digital, I think our
Right.
crews are helpful. They're a little bit more computer savvy than maybe some of the volunteers are.
Yeah, they've
And
been very key to that whole
yeah,
transition to the 21st
yeah.
century. So thank you.
Um, and being that a lot of our people are engineering, have an engineering mindset, finding one bib out of 10,000 is something that we can do, and we
Yep.
have that mindset. And then we also take part in the expo. So we have
Right.
other coworkers who are there working, and as people are coming to pick up the packets, talk to them about energy saving ideas, talking to them about ways that we can help them reduce energy load or manage their energy load, and then really just giving out some freebies and t-shirts and
Yeah.
some swag and light bulbs, things that are fun. And we the past have had keychain light bulbs that are LED light bulbs, but they're a keychain,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah.
people love those. And can I get one for my grandchild? And um, so those are fun experiences. So it's a good mix of service and fun, and with usually a couple dozen coworkers, and we'll also stumble across coworkers who are running that
Yep. Right.
maybe we don't know are running, and they see us in our consumers t-shirts. They say, oh, hey, I work in people as far south as our Royal Oak Service Center and up to Saginaw and Birch Run that are runners and are also consumers employees, and they take part in the race. And it's a fun experience for us.
It is, yeah, and that expo is, unfortunately this year with the Have virtual Crim, one of the things that we're missing is that great pre-race energy that
Yeah,
everyone gets to enjoy, and that was something that I always enjoyed growing up, and have really found that there are few expos out there that have that vibe and that energy, and I think that's such a that pre-race buildup is such an important part of what is the Crim, and people look forward to that almost as much as they look forward to the race. So thanks again for being a part of that and contributing to that, because it's a group effort. You're there because it's great, but you're also part of what makes it great. So
yeah. No,
so
it's a fun experience, and
yeah.
we usually are coworkers who are kicking the in at 3, and their managers are usually like, okay, you can head home, or we get some pizza, and some of them end up frequenting some of the local downtown watering holes and hanging out and making an evening of it on the town. So
Yeah,
it's a great day for us.
a
Something we're
blast.
certainly, we know that why we're doing virtual Crim, and we appreciate that the Crim is still going forward, but we definitely look forward to 2021 and being together in downtown again.
Hey, yep. Us too, very much,
Yep.
very much. Hey, Kyle, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about something that's kind of personally important, very important to me, and I know it's very important to a lot of runners and walkers. Me in particular, because I struggle with asthma, and so air quality is a real important thing. Plus, just because of my genetics, thanks mom and dad, I tend to not love the heat that much. So
Yeah.
I sweat like crazy, and even on just like a cool day. So things that consumers energy is really involved in a lot of a lot of transition right now in making the energy that you're producing a lot cleaner. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about some of the work and the initiatives that consumers is involved with in that regard.
Yeah, definitely, Andy. So our industry, we believe, is dramatically changing, and there used to be a push and pull between clean and green, and then cost effective for ratepayers and the utility. And that's not the case anymore. Um, we believe that renewable energy is the way to go. We believe that building solar, building wind, and also working with our customers to reduce their energy load are the best ways for us to power our state forward. We believe that we call it triple bottom line: people, planet, and prosperity. So doing the right thing for our people, for our communities that we serve, and our employees. For the planet, certainly Michigan is a state where we're based in, and where we have our operations at Consumers Energy. So this is the only state that we have, and we want to keep Michigan for future generations and
Mhm.
prosperity. Frankly, what's good for our communities and good for our shareholders. It's all around this clean and green strategy. So we are. 4 years ago, we closed 7 of our coal plants, and we have plans over the next 20 years to close the remaining 3 units, one as soon as a year or two.
Wow.
So but then we're also working with those communities and with those coworkers, right, to find viable solutions and paths forward for them as well.
Mm.
So it's
That's
not
great.
just, and Andy, you and I being Flintstones, we know what happens when the company town leaves, right?
Right.
And we are working to learn from those situations and really do right by those coworkers and those communities as well, while we do the right thing for our shareholders, for our customers, and for our environment. There's just a lot of exciting things that are happening. Um, I had the opportunity to tour our wind park over in the west side of the state in Ludington, and looking inside of a wind turbine, it's phenomenal. And then you ask and they say, well, what about the reflection? I said, well, technology's to the point now where they know where the sun's going to be at, they know where the homes are at, and they can actually move the turbine blade so that you don't have that reflection coming into someone's front window, for example.
Wow.
It's really fascinating stuff. And then actually next to it, we have our Ludington Pump Storage, where we're investing several $100 million in replacing the turbines. It's 6 of the largest turbines in the world. And
Mm.
so it's a 27 billion gallon reservoir that
Wow.
pulls the water in at night and then runs it through turbines during the day to provide power. So just a lot of fascinating, cool things that we're doing, and it's really proud to be part of that. And then you've seen actually, Andy, here because it impacted the Crown a few
Mhm.
years ago, are the care that we take when we do our projects. If you remember the manufactured gas plant removals of a plant that site that was been there for over 100 years, and that cleanup and those big tents we had in downtown where the Krim had to reroute that one year.
Yeah, that was a
Those,
major project. You spent
yeah, yeah,
over a year, right? Or was it close to
yeah.
a year?
It was about a year of that the project was going on, but those large tents were to keep dust in
Hmm.
and to make sure that the air surrounding the work site was clean.
Hmm.
Just significant lengths that we go to, even here I'm sitting in Grand Blanc right now. We're doing a pipeline replacement project from here down to the Milford area. We this year, instead of safely burning wood that's cleared, as we're replacing the pipe, we've harvested that and worked with local landscapers. We had 30,000 cubic yards of wood that's now become mulch here in
Mm.
Genesee and Oakland County. So as we're all at home, people are doing more landscaping projects. Landscapers needed mulch and said, well, we've got wood, so can we make this work? And we did. So we're just thinking about things that we can do to help make our environment better, and it makes our state better. But one of the things that people listen to the podcast, runners, yourself,
Mhm.
can do is actually to manage your energy load and work with us to do that. We believe that if people are able to reduce or effectively manage their energy load, it's the equivalent of building a new power plant. So the cheapest power for us is the power that we don't have to provide. And so if on those hot summer days, people are able to work with us and pre-cool their homes, so maybe you don't have to run the air conditioner in the afternoon because
Mhm.
you've made your house or your factory cooler in the morning. That goes a long, long way to frankly saving the earth, which is what we're all about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like we're getting there. I mean, the need is very great, of course, and to reduce our carbon footprint and our energy consumption, and because the energy we consume then requires more energy produced on your end. So
Yeah,
it really is a full circle effort, and I really appreciate and applaud Consumers Energy for recognizing that need and making those changes. And they are hard. They're not just hard from a technology standpoint, but like you said, from a social and economic standpoint, it does impact communities and employees. So I appreciate that you're thinking about those things where you're sort of thinking a full stream effect in terms of what happens downstream, so to speak. So
yep,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. When I interviewed Mike Torrey with consumers, he touched a little bit on Flint Promise and and some of the other things that Consumers Energy is supporting, like the Sloan Museum and Planetarium, which are really wonderful, unique Flint assets. So I didn't know if you might know a little bit more about what maybe like the history with the Flint Promise. I'd love to go into that, because I think that that's such a real such an important thing for the Flint community to really provide this asset focused on education with our and educating our kids. And
Yeah, the Flip Promise really came together. It was a unique situation. So, Consumers Energy Foundation, along with Tom and Holly Gores, who are Genesee County, well, Tom's a Genesee County native,
mhm,
lives out in California, and people locally know him because he's the owner of the Detroit Pistons.
right.
But as part of Tom's Flint roots, and frankly our company's Flint roots, we came together to work with partners like the Community Foundation of Greater Flint,
Mhm,
the Flint Genesee Chamber of Commerce, and the ISD, Flint Community Schools, Mott Community College, Kettering, U of M Flint, to really put together the Flint Promise. So both our company's foundation and Tom and Holly Goris, we each gave $1 million to seed
wow.
the Flint Promise. It's a last dollar scholarship at Mott Community College. It works effectively as a middle dollar scholarship at Kettering and Mott, although with it being Flint residents, they're able to close that gap dramatically for
Mm,
those students as well. It is a way to eliminate the barrier of affordability to post-secondary education. We
mhm,
know as a company, we know as CRIM, certainly with the work that you all do in after-school education, the importance of post-secondary education, and that can be a 4-year degree. It can be a 2-year degree. It could be a certificate or a 1-year program. We have at our company, our line workers complete a 1-year certificate program, um, and then with some additional training as they onboard within the company. But they have wonderful careers, right? So
mhm,
we believe that post-secondary education is so important. Flint's one of our company hometowns. We've so it was really important for us. Some of the genesis of it predates me, but as I've been told, there was a some education opportunities taking place in Detroit that we were approached about from statewide groups. Um, while we, have like Detroit, we just happen to have zero customers that
mhm,
live in the city of
right,
Detroit,
right.
and so we said, when there are opportunities to help other communities in the state that we do serve with similar educational opportunities, we would certainly be willing to consider that. And the Flint Promise rose to the table. Senator Ananick has been working on a state supported version of this, which is also in place now.
Mm,
Since he was on city council, actually, he and I think Mayor Neely were both on city council together. If I remember right from my time at a previous job working on getting a promise. So we have two promises that work together. There's also, it's complicated, but it's using tax increment financing from state education assessment that commercial buildings and non-owner occupied buildings pay. That also is going to begin to fund this as well. So we've got it where
mm,
Flint Promise not only helps with those tuition dollars, but also wraparound services and books, fees. But I think those wraparound services, the Flint Genesee Chamber provides coaches,
uh,
success coaches for the students. So, it's one thing to pay a tuition bill, it's one thing to pay books, but to have someone who is checking up on students, these are all students who live in the city of Flint and attend a high school located in the city of Flint. Many of them are first generation college students. Many of them are coming from backgrounds where they may not have someone at home that can not only help them with homework, but just guide them through that post secondary educational process. And
mhm,
so the success coaches act as that guide and sometimes as that person that's going to keep you accountable, so that
right.
you are in school. But as Dr. Beverly from Mott Community College says, we want you to graduate.
Yep.
Whatever the program you're in, we want you to graduate. If that's a
Mhm,
certificate, if that's an associate's degree, if that's going on to get an undergraduate degree, we want you to graduate. And that's something that's really important for us as a company and me, frankly, as an individual, as a Flintstone myself.
Absolutely. Well, and I said this with Mike, and I'll say it with you. I mean, what I really appreciate about this is that you are a part, much like the Crim. You're a big part of what makes this community a great place to live. It's something that helps us want to be here, not just have to be here.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
exactly.
uh,
No, and we're here, man. We have over 400 employees who work in the city of Flint. We're
mm,
based out of Flint. They may go from here to there during the day, but they're
right.
based at our Flint Service Center. So no, we're here, and as our CEO says about the state, and it's true about Flint. You know, she says as for us to grow, Michigan has to grow, and for us to
Mhm.
grow, Flint has to succeed as well. So a strong Flint is strong. It's great for consumers' energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about some fun stuff.
Yeah,
One of the things that, I mean, not that we haven't been talking about fun stuff, but
energy's
I,
not fun. Come on,
no,
man.
I think it's awesome. Actually, I'm fast. I could talk with you about it all day. I think it really is fascinating and so important. But
No, I'm
one of the
teasing.
things, one of the things that I can't, I can't end this without talking about is your support of the Crim Festival main stage. It is such an important part of what makes the Crim special, and I think for a lot of people that is the one of the many things that literally propels them forward to finish their race. And if they're really struggling at mile 7, it gets them through 8 and 9 and into
Yeah.
into the finish line. um, so talk a little bit about that. I know you're out there every year and enjoying it just as much as everybody else. So what do you love about the Crim Festival and what the main stage is able to provide for everyone?
Yeah, as we were talking about the CRIM with some of our colleagues, two questions come up, which is what does the CRIM stand for? I think it's an acronym, and I explained it's a gentleman's last name. He's an
Right.
important leader in community in our, not just in the CRIM, but in our Flint and Negro state civic life.
Hmm.
Former rep Bobby CRIM, but they also asked, so it's a race, and I said no, it's a party that involves a race, and whether it's champagne corner on the route, people, handing folks beers, but before the night before the race and then after the race, just having a big party, a celebration, both of the runner and walker and wheeler success, but really of our community. Um, this, Andy, but coming to the Crim main stage, you see people of a cross section of city of Flint, Genesee County, and frankly even around the state, right? Demographically, age wise, people just hanging out, partying, eating some pizza, eating some pasta, having a cold beverage, and listening to some good music and really enjoying themselves. We're proud to support this event for it to be a free concert. I know that the CRIM works to reduce cost barriers for people
Hmm.
from residents across our community, but this is an opportunity for people to come downtown, have a good time. It's family friendly. It's just a wonderful, wonderful experience to celebrate, whether you run, whether you walk, whether you're just people watching, and just the spectacle of thousands of people running throughout the city. Um, but the main stage is really really cool. It's just a fun thing that we're able to do. Something else that we're missing this year, but I said to one of our folks, I said we have to keep supporting it because we know my friend Dana would jump on the title sponsorship if I gave it up. So
That's right.
I want to continue to support that. It's just a great thing. We're happy to expand our sponsorship to include the volunteer activities, but the entertainment main stage is just a great thing. It's great recognition for us, but it's really wonderful for the community.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it really is something that is truly for the community. I know you have to, unless there's sort of very special circumstances, we have to charge people to put on the race and to
Yeah,
actually join the race. And of course, there's the commitment of training so that you can run or walk. Even if you're a volunteer, there's some time commitment in there. But we want the Crim each year to be truly for everyone. So even if you don't have the time to volunteer, you don't have the ability to run or walk, the festival on Saturday and on Friday night also are those are the things that really make it a true community event, and it's not possible without you. So I really
yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Very
no,
very
we're
grateful for
we're
your
proud to
support.
do that, and it's just wonderful experience, and great to put that on for the community. And for the runners as well to celebrate their success. That's fantastic as well because, like I said, when I lived on, I think the mile 8 marker was 2 houses down or something. So people are on those last 2 miles, and it's I've never run 10 miles. I don't think in my life. I'm
We'll get you
usually
out there,
the
Kyle.
yeah. I have my four-legged walking partner that we walk in our neighborhood, but um, it's it's just great for them to have that celebration as they cross the finish line. They get their medal, and they're able to celebrate and get some refreshments as well. So it's fantastic, and you all at the crib do a great job putting that on. And I mean, think back, I think I've thrown a party with 1,000 people before in college or something, but the party that you all throw, the way you do it is really fantastic, and great work to your staff and all the. I know the volunteers, not just our
Tons
a
of
couple dozen
volunteers.
folks,
Yep.
but all of your volunteers. Ruth, who leads that group, who's my old boss.
Right.
I was Ruth's intern. I won't say how long ago it was for either of us, but Ruth, who leads your volunteer effort, does a fantastic job. And
She sure does.
and also congrats to Jerry and to Lauren. Your transition, Jerry. It's great work. I know we're going to miss this celebration. I saw that note, but Jerry's done a fantastic job of leading the creme and leading your organization through all the change you've been going through and growth and success. I know Lauren is keeping you guys moving forward too.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, we are, Jerry has really just propelled this organization from a simple race to a true force of health and wellness in the greater Flint community, and particularly in Flint, but also throughout the whole county.
Yeah,
And that takes vision. It takes hard work and fortitude and just the determination to get there. And Lauren has been with Jerry almost every step of the way, and I'm so excited to see how we're going to continue to grow. Once Jerry says goodbye and Lauren really takes the helm, then
yeah,
thankfully that transition has been happening over the last year.
right,
There's been a real
right.
succession plan, so I think it's going to be pretty darn smooth, and so pretty
Yeah, no,
excited
they're
about
both
that.
really positive leaders. I think at least
Absolutely.
maybe it's different on the inside, but from the outside, they look like they seem
Well,
like very positive people that are really involved in the Crim being a leader. We're happy to be a partner with the Crim as well. So.
well, that's great. Well, and of course, both they share a really important imperative that of course the board shares as well, which is don't mess up the race. so
Yeah, yeah,
so we'll continue putting on a great event even
awesome.
as the Crim continues to grow. So and then this year, kind of talking about the fact that we're everything's virtual, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Really. Uh, Excited to be able to provide people with ideas on how to celebrate. And this year, in our virtual toolkit, Consumers Energy is our presenting sponsor of that toolkit. And so, all of you racers out there, I encourage you to go to that toolkit. You've got lots of links to it from our emails, um, and you can find out ways to celebrate there. And I encourage you to raise a glass to consumers at one point, because they not only make it possible for the race to happen, but they make that wonderful festival possible, and they make so many other great things possible in our lives and around our community. So Kyle, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And with that, I will bid everyone a great day and a great run or a great walk.
Thanks, Andy.